Welcome class back to Project 3 Web Applications. This is video number 8. We're going to cover the section Styling Learning Log on pages 438 through 447. So Learning Log is fully functional now, but it has no styling and runs only on your local machine. So in this chapter, we're going to style our project in a simple but professional manner and then deploy it into the live server so anyone in the world can make an account and use it. So that deploying will be video number 9. So we're just going to focus just on the styling. So for the styling, we're going to use the Bootstrap library, a collection of tools for styling web applications so they look professional on all modern devices, from a large flat screen monitor to a smartphone. So to do this, we'll use the Django Bootstrap 4 app. So our first step is to open up our Learning Log environment. So using our command prompt, we will go ahead and activate. And then we're going to type the command that you see on page 438. Okay, so you should get a successful installation of Django Bootstrap 4. And then we'll continue by just modifying our files. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to add in Bootstrap 4 into our settings file. So in Learning Log, we'll come to Settings and scroll down to the bottom. Actually at the top, okay, more to the top. Then we're going to go ahead and add in our third-party apps. So make sure you enter this statement after the My App section, so the learning logs and the users, but before the default Django apps. So what is Bootstrap? So Bootstrap is a large collection of styling tools. It also has a number of templates that you can apply to your project to create an overall style. To see the template Bootstrap offers, you can go to https://getbootstrap.com, click Examples, and look for the Navbar section. We'll use the Navbar static template to format Learning Log, which provides a simple top navigation bar and a container for the page's content. And you can see what we're going for on the top of page 439. Next, we're going to modify base HTML, and this is a template, so we're going to come through our learning logs and then go into templates, learning logs, and then we'll open up base. So we're going to modify it by inserting quite a bit of HTML code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push all of the code in, and then we're going to go ahead and discuss it. Okay, so the author has broken up this section to kind of talk about the different sections of the HTML. So the first thing that is mentioned on page 439 is talking about that we now have a title tag. Okay, so we now have a title, and that is of Learning Log. Lines 11 and 12 are using Bootstrap's custom template tags, which tells Django to include all the Bootstrap style files. The tag that follows enables all the interactive behavior you might use on a page, such as collapsible navigation bars. And then we have the close of the head section. Okay, so the next one is looking at the navigation bar. So in the body section, we begin with the navigation bar. And the nav element indicates the page's navigation links section. Everything contained in this element is styled according to the Bootstrap style rules defined by selectors navbar, navbar extend MD, navbar light, BG-light, MB-4, and border. A selector determines which elements on a page a certain style rule applies to. So the navbar light and BG light selector styles the navigation bar with a light themed background. The MB and MB4 are short for margin bottom. The selector ensures that a little space appears between the navigation bar and the rest of the page. And the border selector provides a thin border around the light background to set it off a little from the rest of the page. The project's name is to appear at the far left of the navigation bar and make it a link to the home page. It will appear on every page in the project, and so that is our line 19 and 20. The navbar brand selector styles this link so it stands out from the rest of the links and is a way of branding the site. Our base template further defines a button, okay, so line 22, that appears if the browser window is too narrow to display the whole navigation bar horizontally. When the user clicks the button, the navigation elements will appear in a drop-down list. The collapse reference causes the navigation bar to collapse when the user shrinks the browser window or when the site is displayed on a mobile device with small screens. The next section of code is the div section, and the term div is short for division. You build web pages by dividing them into sections and defining style and behavior rules that apply to that section. Any style or behavior rules that are defined in an opening div tag affect everything you see until you find a closing div tag. The unordered list defines a new set of links. Bootstrap defines navigation elements as items in an unordered list with style rules that make it look nothing like a list. Every link or element you need on the bar can be included as an item in one of these lists, so you can see the LI tags. Okay, and we only have just the one for this navigation. The next part of the navigation is our unordered list that has more items in it. You can have as many groups of links as you need on a page, and this group will be a group of links related to login and registration that appears on the right side of the navigation bar. The selector ML Auto is short for margin left, automatic. The selector examines the other elements in the navigation bar and works out a left margin that pushes this group of links to the right side of the screen. At line 33, the if block is the same conditional block we used earlier to display appropriate messages to users depending on whether or not they're logged in. The span element styles pieces of text or elements of a page that are part of a longer line. Whereas div elements create their own division in a page, span elements are continuous within a larger section. And to close out our division is line 48. Then we come into the main part of the page. So the main element is used for the most significant part of the body of a page. Here we assign the Bootstrap selector container, class container, which is a simple way to group elements on a page. We'll place two div elements in this container. The first div element contains a page header block. We'll use this block to title most pages. To make this section stand out from the rest of the page, we'll place some padding below the header. Padding refers to space between an element's content and its border. The selector PB-2 is a Bootstrap directive that provides a moderate amount of padding at the bottom of the styled element. And the margin is the space, and margins are space between an element's border and other elements on a page. We define one more div element, which contains the block content. We don't apply any specific styling to this block, so we can style the content of any page as we see fit for that page. And we end base HTML with closing tags for main, for body, and for HTML. Next section is to style the home page using a Jumbotron. So the Jumbotron is a Bootstrap element, and it's a large box that stands out from the rest of the page and can contain anything you want. Typically, it's going to be used on home pages to hold a brief description of the overall project and a call to action that invites the viewer to get involved. So this would be line 4, div class Jumbotron. Okay, so again, applies a group of styling directives from the Bootstrap library to this individual div. Inside the Jumbotron are 3 elements. The first is a short message, track your learning, that gives first-time visitors a sense of what Learning Log does. The H1 class is a first-level header, and the Display 3 selector adds a thinner and taller look to this particular header. We then include a longer message that provides more information about what the user can do with their learning log. Okay, rather than just using a text link, we create a button at the bottom that invites users to register their learning log account. This is the same link as in the header, but the button stands out on the page and shows the viewer what they need to do to start using the project. We then move to styling the login page, which we will use the users folder to do so. So users, then templates, registration, and then login. So just like with base, we're going to go ahead and load Bootstrap 4 template into this template. And we define the page header block, which tells the user what the page is used for. Okay, so log in to your account. We removed the if form errors block from the template because the Django Bootstrap form manages form errors automatically. We have a form attribute, and when we use the template tag Bootstrap form, we display the form. It replaces the form.as_p tag we used back in chapter 19. The Bootstrap form template tag inserts Bootstrap style rules into the form's individual elements as the form is rendered. We open a Bootstrap 4 template tag buttons, which adds Bootstrap styling to buttons. Okay, so now we should be able to go ahead and test. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get our server run. So we'll enter in our Python manage py run server so that our updates that we just entered, hopefully you've saved them all. I've saved them. And then we'll go ahead and we'll come to localhost. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on register. Okay, and here is a display. Okay, username and password, and then the password confirmation. We are now going to come over to the topics page and style that page. So here is the updated code for topics. We don't need to use the load bootstrap tag because we're not using any custom Bootstrap 4 template tags in this file. We move the heading topics into the page header block and give it a header styling instead of using the simple paragraph tag. We style each topic as a header 3 element to make them a little larger on the page, and do the same for the link to add a new topic. We now have topic that we need to update. So this is all inside of Learning Logs. So let's go ahead and open this file, and then we'll go ahead and update it. We've updated it before, but we just need a few more updates. Okay, my mistake there. We haven't updated the topic file yet. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we added in some additional code here. So we first place the topic in the page header block. Then we delete the unordered list structure previously used in this template. Instead of making each entry a list item, we create a div element with the selector card. This card has two nested elements, one to hold the timestamp and the link to edit the entry, and another to hold the body of the entry. The first element in the card is a header, which is an H4 element, with the selector card header. The card header contains the date the entry was made and a link to edit the entry. The small tag around the edit entry link makes it appear a little smaller than the timestamp. The second element is a div with the selector card body, which places the text of the entry in a simple box on the card. Notice that Django code for including the information on the page hasn't changed. Only the elements that affect the appearance of the page have been changed. So again, that's the entire section, and we're just adjusting the appearance. The functionality has stayed the same. Let's go ahead and save. Come over, and let's do a learning log. Let's go ahead and go to topics. Okay, and I am logged in here currently, so if you're not logged in with your username, you'll want to go there. So I'll go ahead and click on chess, and then you can see kind of like the example in page 447. So again, if you're not logged in, you're not going to see these entries. Okay, that ends this section, and we'll have one more section, one more video, and that'll be coming next week, and that is deploying learning log. If you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you.